afternoon. I know this is a tough time after lunch. Yeah, it's difficult to manage. Thanks for joining this session. Uh,
Hi all, thank you for coming this session. In this session, I'm Alpa Budbhati and I'm working as a Azure data consultant. And you can find me in LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube or Medium as well. Uh, yeah.
yeah, myself Nagaraj. Uh, Call me Nagaraj Sangodan. I'm a solution architect working for Capgemini, mainly in the data and AI side of it. I'm helping customer building the data strategy and the data platform, advanced analytics. That's my expertise. So today we're going to talk about the generative AI LLM model, and then how we can use Fabric. Fabric is a platform where we're going to build code, how we're going to clean the data. All we know, right? Data quality is a big issue, most organization, right? How are you going to handle that, right? And lastly, we're going to talk about few more tips as well. How well we can manage, how much we can do it in the LLM or how much do it ourselves. So kind of a pattern, how best we can use the pattern for building the solution. And then we'll wrap it up on the Q&A. Okay, so generative AI, if you look at it, right, so it started in the early 1990s. That's where the machine learning started. So where it's focused on the specific use case with the labeled data. So there are certain data and it get trained on the specific data and then it generate the output for specific use case. So next one in 2010, they came the deep learning, the neural net, where they trying to train neural net like a human brain. They have multiple layers and they train, and then it gives a enhanced output. Still, it's a labeled data, and then it gives for a specific purpose, but it does bit more effective than the machine learning. Lastly, the generative AI came. This is mostly kind of a different, it takes a huge amount of data and then it process, but it does whatever we try to give kind of a prompt. So it's a basically the prompt based, right? So the effective prompts generate the effective outcome. If you look at it, LLM, right? This side, if you see ML model, it does for specific use case like a classification, entity extraction, summarization, or anything you want to do. You have a separate model and you have to train for a specific one. Whereas if you see the LLM side, there right, there are many models right now in the market, right? So they're trying to train with a huge amount of data. And yeah, it's costing a really huge because you need a lot of GPUs to train so that the model able to recognize all the features, right? The good thing is it does for all the use cases. Means it covers most of the use cases based on the data, how much you've been trained on the LLM model. So this is the popular now, everyone knows, right, LLM model. So what we're going to talk about is the Fabric and the OpenAI. That's where Microsoft integrated into Azure AI Studio. That's right now in public preview. Anyone can view. So what we're going to do is we're going to join these two and see how best we can address our data quality issue. That's what we're going to talk about in today's session. I just directly get into demo, not take too much time. So, yeah. Okay, so hope you all know about the Fabric, right? So um, before going to this one, so I'm going to talk about the AI Studio. This is the Azure AI Studio that's in right now in a public preview. So the main thing is they integrated into all the pre-trained model. So pre-trained model is you can use any like a Snaps ML model or any large LLM model. Either it's a open source or proprietary. It's not tied up with only with one like a OpenAI. You can use any like a Mistral. So right now you could see the library. It's kind of a marketplace where you can integrate with any kind of a model, and within the workspace, which you can start building application on top of it. So the question is how effective we can use this model. So now there are large LLM models are currently available. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to utilize this model to try to solve some of the problem. Okay. Let me go to the DQ side of it. So here what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a one OpenAI service. Um, this is my OpenAI. So I just already created. This is, if you go to model deployment, right now they moved all the model deployment, everything into AI Studio. I'm just opening the manage deployment, and it goes to here. Okay. Okay. So here, if you look at it, I have different models available in my OpenAI subscription, means in my OpenAI resource. So GPT-3, 3.5, GPT-4, and text embedding. So each model has its like a own purpose, like a embedding, mainly using for embedding completion. Similarly, for GPT-3, we can use for completion embedding as well. And 4 is a bit advanced. The drawback is it takes time to respond. Like it's again depends, right? Also, the cost wise, it's a vary. So GPT-4 is a bit more costly. Each request will cost more compared to GPT 3.5. So what I'm doing is I'm just deploy some of the model. So you can select any model, like a click here and click deploy, and you can create your own model. So I have already done some of the deployment. I can show you. I have the DQ demo one. It's a GPT-4. I'll walk you through. And DQT demo 2, data quality demo 2, is for the text embedding. And then DQ demo 3, it's for the GPT-3. So these three deployment I have made. And then I'm going to the chat. So the two way we can do. One is a completion side. So if we go completion, I can just show you one small one. Yeah. I can say pass unstructured data. So this gives some template. So I can use this one, and I can delete this one. Okay. So now I have different dates. Okay. What I want to do is I want to convert the date into a standard format. So what I'm saying is I'm just giving an instruction saying that whatever the date comes, try to convert in a typical format like a DD, MM, YYY. Okay. And what I'm trying to say is I giving you two sample to train how to use like some example, right? So it's like a kind of a human, right? We just say that this is how you have to handle certain scenario, right? Similarly, I just give some two scenarios for the model to train, and then I'm asking for the fourth one. Okay, can you convert this data? So I just try to generate. So bear with that. The model never going to work in the same way every time. Sometimes it's weird, work bit weird. Um, yeah, I think it's happened. Okay, I'll regenerate. Let me try if you see. Okay, fine. So this is not working. So what I do is I'll directly get into the chat one, and I'll tell you how we can effectively use that one. So this is the same functionality we're going to use in our code. Okay, this is just to show you the playground. This is the AI Studio where we do some kind of a playground. We're working on how we can use the prompt. Means prompt is the key. How we can do the data valid, means how we can effectively train our model to give the response, right? So here we have option where we can say what is our system message. System message is the context we are setting to the model, and then we're going to give some kind of examples. Okay, and then we can ask a question, it's going to respond. So I'm going back to the code. I'll show you some of the example. So I have a data that is for the insurance claim, and if you look at the data insurance claim, yeah, if you look at the data, so I have the address, country, date, and time, right? So these are all completely in a different format. Like it's not in a standard format. So everything in a different format, right? Country, date, and time, and also the address, right? If I want to do the format everything, right, it will be a bit difficult writing like a different logic for each and every column. It will be a tedious job, right? So how effectively we can do that? So I'm going to take one sample. I'll tell you. So I'm just taking a, this is just already I have a code, but I'll try to explain how we can going to start the development. So first we need to do is we just set the system context. So I'm saying you are as a data quality assistant to fix the, I'll zoom it. Okay, so I'm going to say you are data quality assistant, convert the date format, DDMMYY, and I give some sample, right? So I can do samples, cut it from here, like a, yeah, and then I can add the samples here. Okay, so I can copy the samples from here, like a, if a date is this one, and you need to convert this to this date, this format. Okay, if I want to add more trained sample, you can click on add and you can add more training samples. Okay, and then apply changes. Okay, and here you can choose which model you want to use for. Okay, I'll show you the model as well here. I think, okay, so demo 3 is the GPT-3, GPT 3.5. Let me show you. So this is the, see, demo 3 is a 3.5 and the one is for the GPT-4. Right now I'm just taking the 3.5 version. Okay, and I just try to give some dates, like a 01, sorry, 01 slash 03 slash 2024. Okay, so this gives a converted format, or I can give like a 01, 02, 2024. Okay, it automatically convert whatever the format I give, it automatically try to convert the particular format. So this one I want to use it inside my code. So right now you've seen, right, how we can set up. This is a playground. This is just to try to see what is the right prompt we can use so that we can get the expected result. Once you're confident, then you just apply into your code. Okay, so I'm just going to show you here. I'm saying the same one. I'm just saying the sample text, sample, I'll just zoom in. Yeah, I'm just setting the system text, sample, okay. Yeah, this one. So I'm just setting this one, the text, what is the system need to be trained, and the sample I'll just give. And then these are the means the API. So the API credentials are, you can find it in your Azure subscription, like what is the API version, the key, everything you can take it from the Azure. And then you're just setting up the call saying that this is the role. So yeah, so I'm saying that role system using the system message, user using the sample text, what I'm going to say, and the assistant is the response, what is the expected response I'm expecting from. Okay, next is the role, I'm saying assistant, I'm just giving the context. I'm just going to run this one. Okay, so Fabric, you could see there is a, sorry. So this is where you can see the server. So it says whether server is server is connected or not. So now you can see it's get connected. So session is started in 4 seconds. So typically whenever you want to run any notebook, it needs a compute, right? So it does it automatically and it runs immediately. So if you show here, it says the OpenAPI, nothing is there because the server is newly started. So I had to start from the beginning. So I had to install the OpenAPI library and then I had to instantiate this one. Yeah, just bear with me. Okay, I just run. So this is the insurance claim, nothing but it's already I uploaded into the my OneLake folder. Okay, let it run. Is there any question before going to next one? Yes. Okay, the question is the API key, like open API key, right? Where we can get the open API keys. Okay, so that you can see in the Azure subscription, you have the keys and endpoint. Here you can fetch the keys, key one, key two. Yeah. Okay, so I just try to refresh my browser. Seems it's a bit hanging. Okay, let me open a new tab. Okay, so right now I'm talking about this one, right? So what the demo I'm going to show is I'm just trying to use the GPT 3.5 and run the code and see how the output comes. And then I'm going to use the GPT 4 and how the output comes. And also I fine-tuned the prompt, but due to the time constraint, I had to skip. I'll show you how it works. So if I use the prompt, whatever I show, right, that prompt will work for certain date. For certain date, it won't work. It gives a weird response saying that the format is not recognizable something. So what we're going to do is we're going to fine tune the prompt to make it more easy, means for model to learn, and then it can behave so that it can able to transform all the data in an appropriate format. So I'll just quickly go through that one as well. Okay. So here I have the final version of the format. Uh, okay. So I'll show this one quickly. Yeah. So here I just mentioned, can you guess date to the DD format? Okay. Earlier what I mentioned the prompt is convert the date format given so and so, and this is my date. So what it does is it takes the data and convert, but certain thing like if I give like a year first and then month second, date third, right? So the model not able to recognize the particular date format, certain thing, right? Like if I give like a 2 digit of like a 0101 and the 22, okay, without space or anything, just giving a one character, it won't recognize it's a kind of a date format because 6 digit number, right? It's hard for model to recognize. So now what I mentioned is, can you guess the date? So it's a kind of a different prompt. Again, it's a fall into prompt engineering. If it's a right prompt, it can able to identify all the date and you'll get the response. So I'll show you the final one, how the output looks. So after converting this, you could see that time, date, country, address, everything comes to as per our expectation. Okay, so this is done using the GPT 3.5 only. I'm not getting to GPT 4. If you use GPT 4, thing is it takes bit longer to get a response. Like for running like a 10 records for GPT 4, it took like a if you see here, it might be took like a 18 seconds. If you use GPT-4, it takes a more time to respond. And also it's going to cost you more. So it's a more depends on how well you construct your prompt. Okay, so I'm switching back to the slide now. Yeah. So now I'm coming to the pattern. Okay. So right now, if you see any enterprise, right, they have the billions of record. Okay. So can we use billions of record to LLM to clean everything, right? Seems to be a good idea, but again, the challenge is it's not reliable. First thing, because it's a LLM model, right? So it's not been confirmed that this is going to be 100% accurate. Number two, cost. Number three, it's a API, right? So processing like a billion records through API, it has a certain limitation. So you can't like run all the APIs, right? That's where the typical thing is. First, whatever the data you have in your enterprise warehouse, just take the data, do the validation, try to do whatever you can do the basic one. Whatever data you're able to fix, you can push it back to your EDW. In case whatever is not fixed, then you can take it to LLM. And then only the subset, whatever you find out like a quality issue, right? Those data, you can ask LLM to fix those data so that you can reduce number of records. So like a billion to, you can come to somewhere in the million, and then use the million of records to process LLM. Okay, and on the output of the LLM, right? You can't trust immediately. So what you need to do is you have to write one more function to validate whatever the output come from LLM is as per the expected. Okay, you have to validate. In case if some of the records are not coming properly, you have one more like a not fixed, that will be goes to the review. So there's means someone has to review how it perform, why it's not working fine. In case if something prompt need to be adjusted, the model capability it's reached the max capacity. So let's say right now I'm using OpenAI, right? You can use any model. Like you can use a Groovy, it's a open source. You can download, deploy into a container, and set up your own semantic kernel, create the API, and connect to that. Or you can use existing model like a Mistral, Gemini, any model you can deploy, and you can use the API. So every model has its own limitation, right? So it's all depends what is the model maximum capacity. Sometimes you can use the model capacity more by fine tuning the appropriate prompt and write data to train the model. So it's based on, as I mentioned earlier, right? So if you give the right example, it can easily pick up and give the right results. So this is the recommended approach, the pattern for processing the large means your data, whatever the issue, whatever you have, right? So you can use this model to clean and make it more efficient. So most cases, right, if you say date format, those are all you can write it a code. But some of the cases, it's really difficult to do it through code where you need a lot of work, right? Those cases, you can go for the LLM. I think that's it from my end. Any question? The code and the deck, everything there in the GitHub. In case if you want to try out, you can download from the GitHub, and yeah, you just run it and you can see I have the scenario code, everything there. I have the comments as well. You can check it out on your own as well. Yes, please.
Can you elaborate a bit about the validation step? How do you validate it if additional things are needed?
Okay, so it's again context to the particular business problem. Let's say if I say date, right? Okay, so once LLM converts the date, all you need to do is just take the column. You can just cast it to date. Okay, if any column not able to convert into date, it means it's not proper valid date, right? This is just an example, but it's vary for each business cases. So they want to do certain validation, like if you say transport analytics, right? They want to see the fleet, the right time it's been traveled, it joined to multiple tables, right? And get the data. So it's again, it's a context to the business. So you just write some query and do the testing. Normally, any enterprise data warehouse, right? It's big organization, they have the unit test cases they written, right? Whatever the data they do, they will validate whether it's working fine or not, right? You just run those script and make sure it valid. Those data you can push it back to your warehouse. Otherwise, you do it manually. Why it's not happening? Then you need to identify either it's a prompt or it's a model. If it's a prompt, fine tune your prompt. If not, I think model reaches its threshold. So you have to choose different model to work on.
Presumably you'd need some sort of country data in the context to deal with the potential American data formats going in there. If the date's on the 12th, it's got no way of knowing if it's a month or a day. The only thing it's got to go on is the country, isn't it? To determine, because it's still a valid date, but it could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, so if date is valid, that's probably I can.
Shall we keep it last?
Sorry?
Shall we keep it last? It's almost.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So probably shall I catch up? I have the code. I'll show you. So the question is, how are you going to do like if a date itself not a valid? How are you going to handle that? So we have one more condition. We can in the prompt you can say if anything not able to map, give it as a blank or give it as a null. It will return as a null. Then you can catch it as your validation, catch it, and you can handle it. Thank you then. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hi all. Now we know how we use Azure OpenAI in Fabric. So how many have used before Azure OpenAI? Okay, a few of them. And how many of you have used Fabric? Few of them. Okay, so we're going back. I'm going to now introduction, so you will get more ideas about that. So let's see what is Azure OpenAI. So Azure OpenAI is a set of LLM, like set of tools like AI services like LLM or ChatGPT or like that you can use in your here, and it's more secure as well. So it is a set of AI tools, and for that you don't need any experience to use Azure OpenAI. Anyone can learn Azure OpenAI, and it can call ChatGPT behind that. It's use our natural language processing behind that, but you don't need to worry about it at all, as we said earlier as well. And you can make your application more smarter by using the Azure OpenAI. And it's co-developed by Microsoft and OpenAI. And because of that, it's a very secure. It gives you enterprise level security. So you can have your private link, you have Active Directory, you have a role-based security, and many more. So it's more secure. And it's like it's you using the ChatGPT or that kind of the LLM model, but in Azure cloud, and it's more secure. So this is a very quick overview of Azure OpenAI. Here are a few examples. So like where you can use them. So you can create application, for example, Q&A or ChatGPT or chatbot like of application where you apply that logic in on your data. So you have a data in your organization, for example, knowledge base or maybe troubleshooting based data you have, then you can apply this in there and you will get answer very quickly and securely. It summarizes your data as well. In big data, you have structured data, non-structured data, or huge amount of data, and it takes long time to go through manually. Then you can use Azure OpenAI, and it can summarize your data. It's like, for example, in higher level in your organization, they don't know how to write down structured query, then they can ask in natural language query, in English language. And using the Azure OpenAI, it can convert your query into a structured query, and it return the result as well. So for example, your CEO would like to know like what is sale in this month, or where we are loss or where we are profiting, then it's simple English text, it convert into query and it return result as well, and it give you profit or loss. You also can use for automatic code generation using the Azure OpenAI, and you can apply this idea in audio, video, image file as well. So let's see higher level design of that. So here you can see that you can apply Azure OpenAI on your own data, which is a private data, which can be like, blob storage, data lake gen 2 or like that. Or you can use a data, public data or data over internet. So that is a knowledge. Either knowledge can be from internet or from your organization. And then you apply that knowledge into Azure OpenAI. And then it use Azure Cognitive Search, and then you can have your own code as well, or without writing code also you can use that. And then you can pass a query or prompt either manually by user, or you again can pass that query from a data source. For example, here you can see that you can use a prompt from your database as well. So it's automatically you can do that as well, and it can solve so many different problems. So this is a very high level design of Azure OpenAI, like how it works. Now let's see, if you want to consume Azure OpenAI in maybe C# or Python or maybe Fabric or Logic Apps or Power Apps or Azure Function, then how you will do. So for that, as you've seen earlier, that Azure OpenAI, when you create, it gave you two information, is a REST endpoint and a key. So those two information you need to call your Azure OpenAI instance. And you can call in Azure services like this, or you can call in a Power BI as well, or you can write down your code in any language and use SDK, OpenAI SDK. So that was Azure OpenAI. Any question on that? Yeah, okay. Then we quickly look into Microsoft Fabric. I think few people already know, so I just quickly scan. So as we know that it's Microsoft Software as a Service, and it has all-in-one. It's like completely analytic platform, and anyone like in your organization, like data engineer, data scientist, or developer, or DBA, they all can use in one single place, and you can store the result of each stage, like injection, store, you can do process like transformation, you analyze, visualize, share, all you can do in using the one environment. And behind the scene you use the one lake. It's like one drive, store the all data in one place. And anyone like new to code side, they can use using the no code or low code. Or if you know the code also, then also you can use a notebooks and other things. So like anyone would like to learn, they can use this. So they have a different kind of the flavors. So that is a Fabric one. Now let's see how you will, connect Azure OpenAI in a Microsoft Fabric. So before that, these are the prerequisites. So for Azure OpenAI, you should have Azure account and you have a subscription, and you have to create a request for access to create Azure OpenAI, because not everyone get it. So first of all, you need that, and then you need some permissions to create Azure OpenAI and consume Azure OpenAI. And for Microsoft Fabric, you need just it's a free trial for 60 days, I think, and you can easily log in into create, and you can, do all experiments there. So this one is the first demo in Microsoft Fabric. We have Azure Data Factory. So if you want to call your Azure OpenAI in a Microsoft Fabric through Azure Data Factory, then you need to pass a REST URL key and select a method and header and then prompt. Those things you will pass in no-code, low-code way. And knowledge can be internet or your own data, and then it will give you the results. So for example, I ask a query, what is 2 plus 2? Then it will return the 2 plus 2 into 4. So that is a no-code, low-code way you can call. We will see in demo. And this is another example. Okay, let's go first here. So this is it's not coming.
You just need to.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so this is a Fabric data factory, and here you can see that I have used a web activity to call a REST URL. And here you need to pass a URL, which is endpoint, which Nagaraj has already shown earlier, that where you can find endpoint. And this is a method, and here you need to pass a method. So at the moment, you can see here, I have asked that what is Azure OpenAI. That's it. You can ask anything. And these are the two important things: content type and API key. API key you should store in key vaults, but here I just stored here. So that is, and if I run this, then it will execute, and you will see the results in this variable. And here you can see that output, that what is Azure OpenAI. So it's written the results like this way. And to access that one, if you want to know like how to do that, then in setting, you can see that. So this is your Azure OpenAI calling, and this output here you have a choice.message.content. So that way you can return the result. And here you can do so many things. After that, you can save those information into database or blob storage or wherever you like to store. And you can do here so many things in other terms, like you can have your prompt, which we have hard-coded here, but this prompt also can come from database or maybe somewhere else, not like a hard-coded way, which I did here. So this is a very quick way. So we have another demo, which is a zip code one. So like, for example, for that, let's, we first see demo, then we go to slide. Come on. Yeah, it's a bit slow. So in this demo, we have a list of zip code, and we would like to know what information about that area, like how area it is. You can do so many things, but I did very basic things. So like, for example, you installed all, software there, and then you load these libraries for that, and you can see a version, what version it has, and you can see these are the simple data. So here I pass as a list, but you can have a table or file from your data lake or somewhere else. So this is my data, and here you can see that how you can call here. So this is way you can do in latest version of Azure OpenAI. You pass your endpoint key and this version, and then here I just create a temporary table because I would like to store the result of Azure OpenAI into this table using the library, SQLite library. And here I'm calling the Azure OpenAI. So I'm going through for each loop because I have a data in my list. At the moment it's 4 items, but you can have n number of data. And this is my prompt, but here my prompt is not hard-coded one because this zip code is coming from here. So for each zip code, it needs to say how area in that zip code. So here I'm passing my method like model name. And then this is the result of Azure OpenAI. So Azure OpenAI search in the internet for that zip code and give me the answer like how area in that. Yeah. And this one is the, if you want to see what it written, so this one is the value it has written for last zip code because I only printed last one here. So you can see that it's saying that this area in which, like, and it's give you more information like income around that, and you can see how many property price and so many other things. So it give you all information regarding that. You can ask so many different things as well, but this is a very basic one. And then now I'm storing that result into that table in here in Lakehouse. So you can see that this is my database. And you can see it has now this result. So it's have a zip code and result from Azure OpenAI. This both thing I'm storing into separate tables using here. And you can store in Lakehouse file as well. So this is a file. And here I'm storing the result as well. And if you check what the value, so it's this one. So this is coming from my data source, which is listed at the moment. And this is the result from Azure OpenAI. So that is the first demo, and this is the second demo. So here we are going to see missing data one. So again, you install the libraries, import libraries as well. You calling the Azure OpenAI, and this is my data set. So here I have a few records, and there are missing records in here. There are a few places, and even in last record also missing. So now I have this function in here, and I am asking few questions regarding that. So I'm preparing prompt on my data. So this is a prompt, and this is my data set, which is I have in here. You can have from table or file or something else, but I have added here sample data in itself. And here I'm asking prompt, and I'm saying that, are there any missing value in my data set? And which column contain a missing value? You can ask so many things. I ask a very simple thing. So when I run this Azure OpenAI, it will give me these results. That yes, there are missing data and these columns are missing. But you can collect more information as well, like for which ID is missing, or you can, those kind of so many questions you can ask, and it will give return as well. And even it can replace the value as well, default value. So here you can see that I have asked more questions. So first I ask missing value, and here I'm saying that is the age distribution of the customer is reasonable? Are there any outline in the purchase amount columns? And there are so many similar things like that. So for here you say, do all customers have a purchase history or not? So similar question you ask, and you will call the Azure OpenAI, and then it will return the results, and it will give you like that. So it give you those kind of the answer on your data. So I have only 3 to 4 records in sample data, but you can have billions of record as well. And then it will calculate this for you. This is one more thing is, so you know now that where you can get key and endpoints. But I would like to share something new. So these are the one view code in here. So if you go to here, so these are the code is ready-made for you. So you can call that code in Python, JSON, C#, or Perl, and even many different languages. And these are the ready-made, so you can use that. So this is your prompt. because they prepare for you. So this is your prompt and this is your OpenAI, and your key, you can get it from here as well. So if you want to call this in even Postman, then this is the Postman. So this is my URL. And here you can see the method is post. And in header, you can see these are the two values. And in message body, you can see these are the one which I got from there. And it's written the result. And you can see how you can choose. So you have to choose a choice. Then here you can see that dot content will be here. Yeah, content. Choice.message.content, and this is your value. So this way you can access this even in Python or any programming language as well. So if we go back to here, so I think we have seen this demo. So like we have Azure OpenAI, we have Fabric notebooks. And we have a sample data is zip, and here you can say query also coming from data. We are not user not asking, but it's query also coming from data. And Azure OpenAI return the result for your data. So that demo we have seen, and we seen also another demo which is missing data one. So like this is a customer data, and here you can see that they are missing two, as well as here also missing. And these are the query for missing data. So we passing the knowledge, we passing the query or prompt, and then Azure OpenAI will return the results. And that result you can store in table, or you can do so many different things on that result as well. So yeah, with that, I would like to thank you for attending me.
Yeah, question.
Okay, is it in portal? This one? Okay, so yeah, these are the. So is that your question? Yeah. Okay.
So, okay. So your question is how we get the data stored into table, right? Okay. So the question is, once LLM model, we sending a request, it send the response. How the response storing back into table so that we can use it back into some business or any other downstream applications, right? That's a question.
Yeah, I
take
think,
or-
yeah, I already have
Okay,
here.
so she's answering this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So here you can see that I already have that for that. So this one is description is a result from Azure OpenAI. So you call Azure OpenAI and it return the result in here, and then that reason you storing into table. So here I'm inserting into table.
Yeah, so ideally it's a API. You can use anything like a low code if you want to use. You can use Data Factory as well. Using Data Factory also, you can store into any kind of your target system, maybe RDBMS or NoSQL or file system. You can do that. Means it's all like a kind of a message, right? So once you get the message, you just store it like a how you want to store. You can store. And good thing is the LLM also provide you response with all the responsible AI. Responsible AI means whether it's a adultery content or whether it's a sensitive content. So all the marks will be there in the response. Okay, so that also useful when you see the response. So you can identify whether it's appropriate or you can use. So all those things you can validate.
Yeah, and you can add your more content filtering here as well. If you want to have more content filtering, that it shouldn't be that content or it should be this kind of the content. Like for example, hate speech or those kind of the content, you can block from here.
Any questions? Okay, so I like to ask one more thing. So you have the all seen the OpenAI, like everyone know, right? ChatGPT, OpenAI is a famous, and apart from that, there are some lot more open source. Open source means like you don't want to use any public model because every organization they have the own data, right? So sensitivity is an important thing, right? So how are you going to share the data to public models? That's where what they do is they get the if you go to Hugging Face, you could see a lot of contributions are there. Or if you go to the marketplace, like there are many model being published. You can download whichever model suits for you, and you can use it. But again, the question is, yes, I can download the model LLM, I deploy into my container, and I can use it for a specific purpose. But the question is, my organization have my own business. It has like a complex logic in it, right? Because the model knows knowledge of public content. It means like if you ask for address, yes. You ask for zip code, yes. If you ask for geography, weather, yes, it aware. But if I talk about my business, the model doesn't know anything, right? So it won't respond the way how I expected, right? So how do we do that? So there are options are there where you can means you can customize your training for your LLM. So you have the LLM model. On top of it, what you can do is you can have your own business knowledge, like in terms of a document or whatever the data you have. You can train on top of your model, whether it's a OpenAI or it's a Gemini or it's a Mistral or it's your open source Groovy. You can download. You can train them based on your business data, and then you can use it for your business purpose. That way, it's more effective, giving a response specific to your business context. Yeah.
How do you connect it to a relational database, for instance?
Okay, so normally the LLM model, right? So there is a interface called semantic kernel. That's an open source Python library. That's really help a lot, where it can integrate your LLM model to any other interfaces. So it's it's creating a API interface kind of a thing. It's a kind of a platform. So using that, you can connect to anything. Like it's a API, or you connect to any system. You can easily integrate. So that way you can integrate and you can talk to the data and do that. And thing is, like you need to identify how best you can do like like what do you say, the size of the data, because every model has a certain size only you can take. You can't take like a billion row. You can send a one go, you can get a response. It won't does, because every model has a limitation how many size of the data you can pass and you can get the data, right? So that's also you need to be careful about it.
Yeah, you can also do with bring your data while here, but here you have a few options. But you can use Azure AI search, because AI search is here and you can do via AI search. In AI search, you can import your data, like you can connect your data source, and that way also you can apply Azure OpenAI on your SQL data, or there are so many other data. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yes,
last
please.
option to use the coding, like you can use SDK and then you can apply. No code, low code.
Yes, yes. Okay, the question is how we can take some model from the open source, and then on top of it, how we can train and use it for particular business context. Am I right? Understanding correct? Okay. So if you take in from the open source and doing it yourself, it's a kind of a little bit process. So you need to have the container set up, and you download your LLM model, and then you need to set up the semantic kernel. That's one of the interface, like SDK interface, where you can talk to them. From there, you can connect, and you can say like what are the data you want to train. You need to select source set of data, and then you need to send for the model to train. It's again like a let's say Guru, if you take Guru is a 1.3, I believe, right? So if you take a Guru, right, if you're taking it and download, and you have like a billions of document from your organization and you want to train, so that way what you can do is you can deploy into everything in a container with the required memory capacity. So normally you need to identify the data volume and how much you're going to process. So that's why based on that you can have the GPUs, and then you can pass your document through your semantic kernel API. So that way it will take the document, it will understand. So typically what it does is it has a vector search. Okay, it does all the vector search, so everything is a embedding. So those embedding will be get stored into the model space itself. Okay, after that, whenever you asking for a question, right, so typically LLM how it does is it try to take an answer from its own. In case the knowledge base is not enough, so it go search from the embedding storage, okay, where it will find information, and then it takes the embedding the respective vectors, and then it joins with the knowledge, make a proper response, and send back to the your request. That way it works actually. In case if you find it a bit difficult to set up on your own, you can use a Microsoft one. So Microsoft has a UI driven, like it's a kind of a low code platform where you can using UI, you can do the customization. But again, there are certain limitations. You need to read properly because how data going to be used, it's again need to be validated. So OpenAI not available all the region. It's limited to I think 6 to 8 region right now. GA, I think GA public preview. But yeah, you need to be careful whenever using the LLM models public versions. Yeah, I think pretty much we are done. Thank you. If you have any further question, yeah, you can reach me. I'll be there outside. Yeah.